When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever Podcast.
Hey, I'm super excited to invite Paul Carney today from Kingston, Ontario, Canada to the Financial Freedom Forever Podcast. Welcome, Paul. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you too, Andre.
So all of you guys that are listening, please make sure to ask us any questions. Put your questions in the comments for Paul. He's going to tell us a little bit of his background and story. I'm sure you're going to relate to him. So give him some love. Share this video or share this podcast on your social media, and let's share some love and put some comments there down below. But so Paul, let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your real estate background and history.
Yeah, well, it's been quite a journey so far. I've been in real estate for just over 5 years. Before real estate, I guess you could say I had a marketing background and a sales background. And at one point in time, I was selling photocopiers and office solutions. And a good friend of my family was in real estate, and she was in my territory that I was trying to sell a photocopier to. And she sort of said, maybe you should give this real estate thing a shot. I think you'd be really good at it. And until that time, I had never even considered it. And that was probably going on about seven or 8 years ago when I had that conversation with a lady named Mary Campo. She's still a good friend of mine to this day. And she just gave me that little push and got me going on it. And that was the beginning of my journey. When I got fully licensed, I started out at Royal LePage, which is a well-known brokerage in my marketplace. I was about a year or so working on my own. And then I had an opportunity to work on a high production platinum selling team under an agent that I had a lot of respect for. And it was a good learning opportunity for me to see what made that agent great. And it helped me also just grow as a person too. So after about 2 years of working on a platinum team, I was transitioning to go out on my own again. And it was during this time when I was basically getting all my branding and everything set up. And I had a conversation with Pierre Nadeau. Him and I were working on a deal at the time. And I think, initiated the question. I think I said, why are you closing your independent brokerage down after having such a great year? I don't understand that. And he said, I'll have to show you why sometime. And I'm like, well, I'm not looking for a change myself. I'm actually really happy where I am. But that was the beginning of the journey with EXP. And I remember going to the office and basically seeing the platform, asking some questions, a few sleepless nights. And then about 2 weeks later, I was making my decision that I was joining. So I've been with EXP now for just over 2 years. My anniversary date is August the 1st. And been really happy with how things have been going so far.
That's cool. So 5 years in the real estate business, the first year on your own, then a couple years, you figured out, hey, it might be easier for me to really get started in this thing on a team. So you're probably on a 50-50 split or something.
I was, yeah.
Yeah. And then got your business going, and then it was time to, go kind of on your own, but not happy where you were. And then you heard about the opportunity. Well, that's cool. A lot of us find out about it by a real estate friend or acquaintance or someone we're doing a deal with that mentions it to us. And the people that are open-minded and at least want to know what's going on, what's out there, even if you're not looking to make a move, end up making a move after they really find out the ins and outs of it. But so what were the top one or two things that really excited you about the opportunity when you first looked at the model? What really got you excited?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was that now that I wasn't going to be on a team anymore, the coaching that I would get from my team lead, I wouldn't have that anymore. And so then I was looking at all these different great real estate coaches that are out there that charge a lot of money to work with. And I thought, well, I guess I could get some coaching. And with EXP, I realized they have that built within the framework of the company. And I don't have to pay money to get that. And for me, that was a really big opportunity because I was just about to hire a coach at the time. And I realized that all that education and coaching I needed to get me to the next level was going to be available to me. So that's what excited me the most when I jumped on it. Okay. And then there were other benefits to the company that I kind of learned later and got to experience as to what I love about EXP so much.
So the free coaching and training that you got from EXP, because they offer what 50, 60 hours a week, was a big push. And then you probably didn't even know very much about the free coaching and training that we get through the National Association of Expert Advisors, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, and those guys, because they're in our network above us. Did you even know about that in the beginning?
I didn't know about that. I was on a call with, I remember I was on a call with Pierre and Jay Kinder.
Okay.
And Jay being the successful coach that he was and still is, obviously. I remember I even had my fiance, and I just got her to sit beside me off camera, sort of saying, hey, save me from myself here and tell me if I'm drinking the Kool-Aid or not, because I'm getting really excited about this and I'm concerned with how excited I'm getting about this. And of course, she was giving me a thumbs up and saying, yeah, no, this is a really good thing. But one great thing about what Jay said was, if you ever need to get a hold of me for anything, just book me in the calendar and I'm there. And I remember thinking, yeah, sure. It's nice that he said that, but I'm sure he's a very busy man. And since I've joined the company, him and I have talked about once a month going forward. And he really, truly has been a man of his word. And I realize everybody in our group that's a part of this company, we really are available to each other.
Right.
And that masterminding that you get is where some really good ideas can get forged out. And I've benefited both in my business, but also in my personal life from all of it too, because part of good coaching is setting up guardrails so that you can sustain your business over a long period of time too.
Exactly. So how many transactions were you doing, prior to moving over to EXP? And how many are you doing now?
Yeah, when I was on a team last, I was doing around 15 or so transactions that I was quarterbacking myself. Obviously, when I was on a team, I was assisting in other functions of that too, outside of just my overall production. But yeah, I was doing about 15 or so transactions, and I was on a split. And so when I made the hop over to EXP, a couple things happened. Was the split was obviously better. All the coaching I needed was there. I was more profitable per transaction, and then my transaction count started actually going up too. And so now I'm over 30 transactions, and I'm looking to double that again.
That's awesome. So you've doubled your business over now, doing 30 units, and this year looking to double again.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. So, and because you're on a 50-50 split before, and now you're not, you're really probably tripled your income.
Yeah, that's right. All the business I did generate for my team, I was given a better split on those deals, but anything that was team lead driven was on a 50-50 split. But even with that, when you do the math, yeah, the numbers don't lie. My business probably got about 3 times as profitable from all these moves I've made. Yeah.
And what are you doing to generate the leads? And now you're not on a team, you're on your own. Now I know because of Pierre's setup, you're able to, and the way EXP set up, globally, you're able to work with Pierre and use probably his office and hang out with those guys and get connected to all the stuff that they're doing. But you're not really on this team, quote unquote. You're a solo agent within EXP, right? So you kind of get the best of both worlds. But now the leads aren't really being provided to you from the team. What are you doing to double your business and triple your income?
I guess for me, a lot of my business, up until joining EXP has really been about just my own personal network that I had, but that can only get you so far. And I mean, I appreciate all those deals, but you just don't know when they're going to land in your life.
Right.
And I needed to be a little bit more systematic about it just to have a little bit more income stability. So for me, it was about figuring out how to be better at generating online leads. And people in this company, including Pierre, have been really successful at that. So yeah, just being in the room with them and asking all these questions on where my bottlenecks were, I was able to figure out how to ultimately generate more leads online. But then also, when it comes to the scripts and practicing them and getting better at that, how to convert them at a higher level too. So learning more about the KV Core platform, for example, that's provided to us, and how to create campaigns out of that and utilize that and manage everything has been the big pillar to why I got my business to where it is now. And now I'm looking at that and saying, okay, well, that worked. So I think it's time to invest more time and more money into that and take it to the next level. And I'm at that point now where, according to Jay, I've been there for a little while, but I finally, like I said, sometimes I'm a little slower to make a decision. I finally made the decision to hire an assistant. And that's allowing me to spend more time on where the high value activities are. And it's also providing my clients with a better experience, because if I'm not there with being in a meeting, I know that I have coverage and I have somebody that's able to help them out behind the scenes too.
That's fantastic. So you're really going from the mindset of a real estate agent. Hey, how do I get from 15 to 20 deals, and start growing? Now you're at that point that you're thinking more like an entrepreneurial business person, right? And now you're thinking, okay, I'm at 30. How am I going to double it to get to 60? And then leveraging systems, tools, coaching, and then of course other people, and getting an administrative person. That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So congratulations for taking that next step, right? And then you'll get another, you may get a buyer agent to start helping you take care of more of the buyers and start building a team, right? Is that kind of in your
That's it. Yeah. And I need one right now. I'm just establishing more of the framework about what I've already set up, but it's very much on my mind to bring in another agent with the team. And I know the responsibility with that. I want to know that when I bring somebody on, that they're going to be more than compensated for their time, and make sure that they have a rewarding path as well too, that I can provide them. So I'm setting that up right now, and hopefully the next time I hop on a call with you in a few months or a year from now, I will have had that in place too.
Fantastic. Well, if there's anyone on here on our podcast today that's listening anywhere close to the Kingston area in Ontario, that's an agent that might be thinking about wanting to join a team and get leads given to you, and really be under the umbrella of someone like Paul, who's doubled his business, going to double his business again, reach out to Paul, call or text him, and or anyone obviously looking to learn more about EXP. But maybe we'll find a buyer agent or two for you sooner than you think. Let me ask you, what was the most difficult part of being a solo agent before, and how's that changed being with EXP?
Well, when I was transitioning off a team, there was maybe only a couple weeks where I was at my former brokerage as a solo agent before I had joined onto it. But for the year leading up to joining a team, I can tell you the issue that I had was setting up the right guardrails in my life too, and not having it spill too much over into my personal life, making sure that I still had, my personal relationships were being looked after, and not having real estate completely take over. A, it's not good for the health of my business. And B, part of my why and reason why I work hard is because of those people in my life that are close to me as well too, and having better quality time with them, and maybe taking care of them if I need to as well. And so that was probably the biggest thing, was just establishing guardrails in my personal life and my real estate life, and not feeling guilty about it.
Okay. And did some of your coaches or business partners within EXP help you with that, or how did
big time, because a lot of our coaches that I've been lucky enough to talk to over this time are really big about systems and about putting systems in place. And some of these systems they had developed themselves. And it's like having a paved highway now. You just got to believe in it, and you got to just hit the gas pedal and go. It's right there in front of you. I realized, here I am trying to reinvent the wheel on a few things, whereas I can just put a system in place, know that that's working, trust the mechanism of it. And that's also going to allow me to free up my mind a little bit too, and do things outside of real estate that I want to do as well too. So I've been progressively systemizing my business as much as I can throughout this time too. And that way I'm not just firing at the hip all the time. There's a bigger objective from just working in the business every day to thinking about working on it and what does this all mean and where are we going?
Spoken like a true entrepreneur. That's awesome. And how great is it that, you've been in, business 5 years, myself 30. No matter how many years or where you've been, there's so much change in the real estate industry that it's hard to keep up with it all. But we have people that are in our network above us that, we're financially aligned, that they're willing to help in any way that they can. And we can pick up the phone, get on a Zoom, and just get the kind of help that we need. I know that's been a big deal for me, and it's helped me really, financially grow our business for sure. Let me ask you, Paul, what surprised you the most about EXP? What were some one or two things that you were not even expecting, and it was better than what you thought?
The culture would be right at the top of the list.
Okay.
I'm thinking about my business and how I can be more profitable and all these things going into it. Now being a part of it for a couple of years, I realized that the culture in this company is infectious, and it's been really positive to know that everybody's an owner that I work with, and we're all invested in each other. Mm-hmm. So I think that goes in hand with each other too, that we're bringing on agents that we like and respect first off into the company. And because we're all investors in the company that own shares, we want to see the overall company do well too. And what this means is that we cheer each other on here at the office. When people are having great success, we celebrate that. If somebody's struggling and needs help on something, we're there for each other. And there's been so many times where, Pierre, his son, Pat, other members on his team have been so good at just being a friend and helping me out with things too. I really wasn't expecting it to be that good because, we're in this hyper competitive industry and everybody's got their secret sauce and people don't always want to reveal that. And I get that, I understand that, but when we're all owners and we're all incentivized with this common alignment, it goes beyond coaching and mentorship. We're all aligned with each other, and the culture that you get from that, it's really hard to describe except to say I've been grinning for 2 years going into the office every day.
Yeah,
now,
that's really that's a big deal.
Owning the stock over time too, as that accrues and becomes a bigger deal to me. It's nice. It's nice to know that it's a bigger number and it continues to grow, but there's also a sense of pride in being an owner too. I'm surprised at how much I love that, knowing that I'm walking around as an agent owner of this company. And so that really surprised me. I didn't think much of the stocks, who cares? But after being here for a couple of years, that became a more meaningful aspect to me about my position in this company.
Absolutely. I mean, there's 5 different ways that we get stock in a company, all for doing what we'd be doing anyway, selling houses and helping the company.
Exactly.
All right. But the one I really love, one of the ones I love the most is for the everyday agent, especially, if you're going to, even if you only have 5 more years before you retire, if an agent really retires, the normal ones anyway, or if you got 20, 30 years, it's the agent equity program where people can elect for the company to take out 5% of their commission checks. So if you make a $10,000 commission, they'll just take $500 and they'll buy EXPI's company stock with it at a 10% discount. So they give us 10% equity into any stocks that we purchase from from the 5% from our commissions. I think that's a big deal because over 5, 10, a 15, 20-year career, that's just absolutely amazing. If people go back and look at the history of EXPI stock, and it goes up and down like obviously all stocks do, but if they look at the history, I mean, I know it was only $8.15 when I got plugged in 2 years ago, and I looked the other day, it was like $50 a share, right?
So and it's split.
Good growth. And that's before that's after the split. We had a 2-for-1 stock split about 4, 5, 6 months ago. So to me, that's like $100 a share. So
exactly.
that's
And
a
then
big
just
deal.
to know where the growth prospects are with this company too. When I was at the Build conference in Texas a few weeks ago, and we're hearing from the top people in the company with this goal that we're going to hit 100,000 agents, and then we're going for 1 million across the world. And I just love the big audacious goals that people have in this company. And it's actually, for me, that influences everybody below them too, right? Because Jay Kinder from day one has been telling me, aim higher, aim higher, aim higher.
Right.
And I'm starting to realize what he meant by that.
Yeah, when I got plugged in a couple of years ago, there was about 15, 16,000 agents, and I heard the other day we hit 67,000. Last I heard, I thought we were in like 14 countries. I heard we're in 19 countries now. So it's kind of crazy of the growth. Hey, I want to just have a shout out to Vinod and Amin, Chinky, and Joey, who are all watching. Thanks for jumping on. And if you have any questions for Paul, definitely put them out there and share some love and give us some likes and help us grow our podcast. But another question, Paul, I get this a lot from agents that are asking, what's the kind of broker support at the broker level, because they think, this is an online cloud-based brokerage. Now you're in an office, in Pierre's office. So, you have a physical place to go to. Some people don't, some people like myself, we work from our home office because we can. But if you need to talk to a broker of VXP, how many are there in Ontario, and what's the broker support like?
Well, I can really only speak to my own experience on that, which has been really positive. So I work out of the same office that Pierre and his team work out of. My first year at EXP, actually, I was just more so home based for that, and I was totally fine doing that. But being at the office was just more so just to be closer to Pierre and his team and just to learn what's great about them. But Pierre is not the broker of record, right? He has his team here. So I'm not going to him for those broker questions. I'm going to my actual broker of record, who's Michelle Scott. That would be the lady that I'd be contacting the most up here. And I can tell you that every time I've had a question from Michelle, if she's not already picking up the phone, she's getting back to me within a half hour. Wow. She's available to me. She's given me everything that I needed whenever you're in those gray area situations or what have you, and you need to ask the broker a question. She's always been excellent for me on that. So, I mean, she doesn't go to our office every day, right? We're a virtual company, but I have access to Michelle Scott in the way that I need her to, just like I needed my brokers of record at my previous brokerage I was working at.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, because you can jump in the world and go into her office and talk to her there. You can text her, email her, right? Just pick up the phone and call. So that's awesome. I've heard that broker support everywhere has been really, really strong. What do you think about getting access to the NAEA, National Association of Expert Advisors coaching and training that Jay and Al and Michael give to our group at no cost? Do you jump on much of their trainings that we have on their private Facebook page, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays? And have you taken advantage of the free training from the back office that we get access to?
I absolutely have. There's so much resources available to me. I'm not in on every call every week with that, but when I do hop on, I'm always getting value. And the NAEA resources are great too, because any situation you could be in your career where you have a bottleneck, the resources are right there for you. And if you're accessing the NAEA resources and you have any questions about it, then it's just a simple matter of booking a call with one of the creators on it who just so happen to be titans in our industry.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was a top listing agent for 7 years in a row prior to moving to Atlanta back in the days. And I got, my team and I were doing about 150 units, just my little team. My best year was about 80 units, 75 listings and 5 buyers, and not including my team, just myself, because I enjoyed doing that. I was out in the field and just pushing hard. And I got 99% of my listings, so we're pretty good at that. But when I went into the back office, and I was a coach too for 9 years for another different coaching company. But when I took the NAEA training on the back office we get access to on the listing side, I had pages and pages of notes saying, "Wow, that's really good. I never heard of that before." The whole just that process and that listing presentation and their entire process of setting it up, before you actually meet with them, they go over what you say and how you say it to be on the when you first call them on that appointment. So you're the last one in, and to make sure that the seller doesn't sell the property or list the property until they sit down and talk to you, and the reasons behind that and why. It's really, really strong, stronger than I've ever seen before or heard before. And then the presentation of how to get ready, the preparation before the appointment. And I never really did that much before besides a CMA, and they kind of teach that, hey, that was done. CMAs were done 20 years ago. They look at absorption rates and a lot of other ways to find get the highest and best price for your client. But anyway, long story short is I was impressed and had pages and pages of notes from all that training. So if
well, it's one thing to know that the material that's there is so strong, but for me, it goes one step further to know that the people that have put this material together were top dogs in their marketplace too. And so that not only is this good information and it seems good, but then that it's also backed by experience, that this is tried and proven on real estate teams that are executing at the highest level. So to have that confidence in the material, I think is really important for somebody like me too, to know that it's been tried and proven and it's right there.
Yeah, and it's.
I'm still learning. I've still got a lot of NAEA stuff to go through, but I'm getting through it.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. It takes a minute. There's a lot there for sure. Best part is we're not paying $20,000 a year for having access to it like we used to in other companies, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the first time we met, wasn't it in face-to-face? Wasn't that in Las Vegas?
That was in Las Vegas 2 years ago. Seems like so long ago. A lot's changed since then and now, but that was the first time I met you.
And what kind of experience and how important was it to you when you went to that first event in Vegas? I know we've done some other things since then. It kind of slowed off, obviously, because of COVID, because that was prior to. But how important was that event, and what happened there that helped you grow your business?
Yeah, I think it ties back into what I quickly learned about this company that I loved, that I wasn't expecting, was how good the culture was. And so going to that event, speaking to agents right across North America at the time, because we weren't so much in international countries just yet beyond that, but speaking to people from all different sorts of marketplaces and realizing that there's an alignment here. And that was a really big thing for me. And just also realizing how many people I talked to that were such a high caliber real estate agent. Pierre Nadeau in our marketplace, like he was running one of the top independent teams in our area. And then I realized I was talking to former owners of different brokerages and independent teams at the Las Vegas event. And that's when I realized that all these conversations I'm having has helped me in my career. I've stayed in touch with a lot of these people. The networking side of things with going to EXPCon was great, because now it's one thing to be able to have access to this technology, but then when you actually get to go to the events and see them in person too, it just makes our relationships with each other that much more meaningful too. So going there and just getting an experience of what the culture was like was probably the big eye-opening thing. But separate from all that, I was going to a lot of the different conferences and I was taking notes as well too. Like I had like 30 pages of notes by the time I had come home from just going to hear different agents talk and explain what was working in their business. So yeah, that was probably the biggest takeaway, was just the ether that was happening, going to those events. Is you really just got to be in the room to fully appreciate it.
Right. Kind of goes from your head. It's really good because you change companies and you've been plugged in, your business is growing. But it kind of goes from your head to your heart, right? when you really experience the collaboration. And I think the biggest difference, I think you said before, is because we're all owners in the company. Even if people aren't in your personal network, we all own some of EXPI stock, right?
That's right.
And as we help each other grow, the company grows and we all grow with it. So it's not only the owners that's becoming a billionaire. There's a lot of agents that are becoming millionaires and because of the stock and because of having ownership in a company. And it could be a brand new agent just getting started to somebody with 30 years, 40 years worth of experience.
Yeah.
But to be able to have a piece of that is pretty exciting to me.
It absolutely is exciting. And, it just comes down to one thing too, right? This only works if we're selling real estate.
Right.
This model only works if we're doing what we were already doing before. It's just that we got more stake in it now.
Yeah. Hey, if there was just one takeaway today, Paul, that you want to make sure that if there's anyone listening, a close friend of yours, maybe an acquaintance, maybe an agent that you've done a deal with before, and they've been maybe thinking about, they heard the buzz about EXP, and they were listening to this today, what would you want to make sure they got out of this interview? What would your best advice to them would be?
Be careful about your comfort zone. Right. We get in our comfort zone and we're like, well, I wasn't looking for a change, right? Like we're good with where we're at right now. But, like the old adage goes, your comfort zone will kill you. And so you always got to be thinking in your life about how you're growing and what it all means. And on that note, that's right there, just a good reason to at least see if this model is in fact going to be good for you. And for me, it's pushed me right out of my comfort zone. It's challenged me. It's made me look at a lot of aspects in my life that maybe I didn't want to deal with that I had to. And it's ultimately pushed me into becoming a better agent and a happier person in general. So I would challenge you, if you're comfortable where you're at and you might see, some value here, that maybe you just want to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, that's great advice. Your comfort zone will kill you. You're definitely, if you're not moving forward, if you're not growing, you're shrinking, you're dying, right?
That's right. That's why we're called the forward group.
and on top of that, what's cool, you said you become like the people that you surround yourself with. If you stay surrounded and everyone in your peers in the business industry, or it could be personal as well, and there's no one doing 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 times more than you, how are you going to ever really grow? But when there are people all around you that care about you, that are in business with you, and they are doing 10 to 50 times more than you are, they pull you up, right? And you become like the people that surround you. So that's great advice.
Yeah. We all got these limiters that we set on ourselves. And when you surround yourself with people that don't have those same limiters, for me over time, what's kind of happened is, well, maybe I should take a harder look at my own story and maybe I can put in a couple plot twists in here because of the influence from these people and grow this into something more than I thought when I first got into it.
Hey, my last question is, if you were to join EXP all over again, what would you do differently? Is there anything that you wish you would have done something faster or different? Did you make any mistakes, or what would you do differently if you had to do it all over again?
That is a good question. I think for me, there's a lot of big decisions I've had to make over the last couple of years that I've sat on for too long, and then eventually did something that I knew I should have done a few months prior to. So I think I'm forever working on just being a bit faster on making decisions that I know are the right call. And I'm now getting more confidence to do that. I think it's almost a miracle that I made such a quick decision when I did to join the company, because I tend to really overthink things sometimes. And for me, it was right when I saw the model and I joined, that was sort of the beginning of working on that very thing that could, otherwise stagnant growth. So,
and look at you now, you doubled your business, tripled your income, just hired your first administrative person. I know when I hired my first admin, I doubled my business as well. Went from like 40 to 79 units when I got a buyer agent, and then got an admin after, did it backwards. Actually didn't even take my coach's advice. So, thinking like an agent, not an entrepreneur. And then went to 109 units.
Wow.
And I could have probably went from 40 to 109 if I would have took the coach's advice and got the admin and the buyer agent, because the agent didn't cost anything, right? So you might want to think about that and getting your buyer agent faster than what you're thinking. And hopefully someone might call you after this interview today. But hey, it was great to see you in Vegas 2 years ago. It was great to see you in Kingston there a couple weeks ago. We had a nice event that we flew up there and put on a Double Your Business live event with Al Stasic. That's another huge thing, right? We were able to get one of our senior business partners, Al. He's doing, I think he's got a team of about 40 agents or so in his own independent office, and I think 6,000 or more in his whole global EXP group. And we asked him if he'd come up and do a production training on how to double your business, right? And he flew up to the GTA and in Kingston and put on an event for you guys, for us, a few weeks ago. And how was that before we sign off? Did you get a lot out of that live event?
I did. This is the third time I've now heard Al speak live. I've seen him a handful of times on various Zoom calls that we've had, but third time seeing him live, and I still have my notebook out, taking notes. I'm still, like, every time a guy like Al speaks, I'm learning from him. So yeah, I told a few friends, come on out to this event, a few colleagues that are in the business, and you'll get some value out of it. But I was also going to the event just for myself, because I'm forever a student in this business.
Right, we have to be.
And to get access to a guy like Al is pretty special. And to have him in my hometown and everything like that too, and to have you come down to Kingston too, I thought was a really special thing too. So thank you as well for making the trip down too.
Yeah, it was awesome to see all my business partners, see everyone down there, and it's cool. These are the kind of things that our team does, and anyone who went to the event, it was absolutely free, right? It cost all the agents and our team members absolutely nothing to come. So it's pretty cool. Well, hey, a shout out to Sadie and to Bob and Marianne, who jumped on the call on the Zoom. So thanks for you guys joining. Hey, real quick before we sign off, if you're a reader, what's the best inspirational book that you love? Or if you're a movie watcher, what's the name of your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, that's almost like a two-part question. So there's favorite movie of all time, and then there's a book that's had a big amount of influence on me.
Right.
One that I read recently, and I think part of what a great book is reading something at the right time when you need to hear it. Like, you could read the book at a different phase in your life and maybe not get the value out of it. But The Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents is one that I read recently that had a few dots that connected on it. So I definitely recommend that one for anybody. And as far as favorite movie goes, I'd really have to think deep about that. I will say I saw the new James Bond movie last week, and it was awesome. So
all right, cool.
Yeah, so go check that out.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks very much, Paul, for joining us on Financial Freedom Forever podcast. We'll be here next Wednesday, same time, same place. Hey, if you're out there and you have any questions about EXP and any questions whatsoever, reach out to Paul. His number's there.
I'm an open book.
And we're here to help you in any way that we can. All right. So God bless everyone, and we'll see you in Vegas in a couple of weeks, Paul.
Can't wait. See you soon.
All right, buddy. All right, bye-bye.